Hi, my name is Ryan. I'm going to show you how you can use JavaScript to create your own business rules when you're assigning permissions in Geocortex Access Control. Let's have a look. Today I've got a bunch of point data for the state of Ohio. You can see each of these points has a county attribute. A couple different counties here. And the business problem I'd like to solve is I would like a user from an individual county to only see the data for their county. So if I belong to Putnam County, I should only see the data in Putnam County here. All right, so Access Control provides a really simple and easy way to do this. You select the service that you're interested in, select the layer, and define an attribute filter. So we can create a new attribute filter and assign it to either a user or a group. I'm just going to assign it to myself. This is the Geocortex demo account, and I need to provide an attribute filter definition expression where clause. So in this case, it would be county equals, and if I'm just going to put myself in Putnam County. Okay, so that's defining the attribute filter. If I hit save and refresh the application, there we go. So I'm only seeing data in Putnam County. So that's great, it's easy, and if I had a few other users in group to apply this to, no problem, I just follow that same pattern. Now, what happens if there's thousands of users? I don't want to define thousands of these filters. That would be pretty ridiculous. So usually the next stage would be, we should be looking at using groups in the system. So if your organization already has properly organized groups, or not properly, but relevant groups to the business problem, that would be great. So we could assign, flip this over to user, and I might select the Putnam County group, and then just do the exact same thing as I've done here. That would be great. There's a couple problems with that. One, there might be a lot of these things. Ohio's got 88 counties. I don't really want to define 88 of these, but that would work. Or sometimes the groups that might exist in your ArcGIS enterprise don't align at all with the business divisions that you might be trying to leverage here. In that case, we need another layer in between that can do that translation to say this user that either the username or they belong to a particular ArcGIS group. Well, that's really this business level group, and that business level group has a where clause that should go with it. So this is where the power of advanced permissions comes in. So rather than doing one of these, I'm just going to eliminate that one, and we're going to go over to the Advanced tab here. So when I create an advanced permission, it's very similar. I can assign this permission to whoever I like. This time, rather than doing an individual one for a user or group, I'm going to assign one for everybody. And we're going to have this one advanced permission take care of everything. All right, so in here, we get to edit an expression. And now we're going to write some JavaScript. So don't worry if you're not too familiar with JavaScript. We're not going to write that much. But what we're going to do is we're going to write a short little script. And this script is going to define a lookup for a given user. So this script has access to the user. In fact, if I just start typing user, there is a user object here. So we can use this user. We've got access to some things about that user. We can get their name. So given a username, let's go and look up the county name that's interesting for us. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an object called lookup. Okay, so it's just a plain old object, and it's going to be the keys of this object will be the usernames, and the values of this object will be the county they belong to. So Geocortex demo is my username, and the value, or the county, I'm going to put that in Putnam. And let's do another one of these for a different user, and we'll put them in a different county. Allen County is right below Putnam County. Okay, so that's my lookup. This represents my business mapping of users to counties that doesn't exist in any of my ArcGIS groups. Okay, now I need to use that lookup to fetch a county, and the way to do that is just to take that username and use it in the lookup. Okay, so we're going to take the username, use it to go and find the right key. Now, is this username going to be uppercase, lowercase? I'm not sure. So let's just to lowercase that to be safe. All right, so now we have a county, or maybe we have a county. We've got a county if the user is one of these two users. So if we have a county, now we can assign our where clause, and the way to do that is to set an attribute filter. And here we're going to set the same sort of thing. County is equal to, and I'm just going to use these template strings where I can inject the county. Okay, so we look up the county value. If it exists, we're going to set an attribute filter that's county is equal to the quoted county name. If there wasn't a county, we should handle the other case, and we'll just do the exact same thing. We'll set an attribute filter, except rather than doing a real lookup, let's just do a 1 = 0, your standard query to return nothing. Okay, so if we couldn't find you, you're getting nothing. If we could find you, you're going to get exactly what your county offers. Okay, so we hit OK, hit save, cross your fingers, and refresh. If I've done it right, we should see the exact same thing, because I'm still in Putnam County. But to see that it's actually working, let's go over to this incognito tab where I'm signed in as the John Doe user. Previously, I could see everything. Now I just get the Allen County values. Okay, so what's great about this is we've been able to use JavaScript to define our business logic where there's none of this exists in our ArcGIS groups. So rather than creating tons of groups, or maybe your business logic just can't be represented as simple groups, we now have a way to do that. To complete this example, what we'll be doing is filling in the list of these are all the users and the counties that they map to. You can get more sophisticated than this simple lookup, but that's kind of up to you. Another strategy could be you've actually got another system, another business system that can do this sort of lookup for you. Now, I've created one here. It's a little web service. If I send it a username, it returns the county. And I'll try it with John Doe, so I get different values back. It's actually a different county this time, but I could use this web service from my JavaScript. All right, I'm just going to paste that one in rather than writing out the whole thing. But what we would do is this, and I'll walk through how it works. So we are going to run. So there's a utility method to help us do asynchronous work. When we make a web request, it's going to be asynchronous. We are going to use the fetch API. So it's built in. We're going to tell it the URL of our web service. I'm passing the username as a parameter. You can see I'm just going to encode it just to be safe. So that username gets sent to this web service. So it'll be issuing a request like this. Should be a JSON response that comes back. So assuming it was a successful response, we'll go and get the JSON from that. We will dig the county value out of that JSON. You can see there's the county key that we're after there. If the county exists, we're going to set an attribute filter. This is identical to what we did before. At that point, okay, we're done. We can just return, and everything else falls through. So if we didn't end up with a successful request or finding the right county, we're going to set that 1 = 0 fallback. No data for you response. Okay, and I'm going to save that. Refresh this one. This should look the same again as it does. And if I refresh this one, it should actually flip counties because it's not Allen County, it's Hancock County now. There it is. Okay, so it's a fast demo of these advanced permissions. So we can see that we are able to filter data. This is spatial data. We're filtering by attribute though, so we can filter data to users that belong to a given county, so they can only see their data. There are simple ways to do it, where you've just got a simple attribute filter rule where you're assigning a given user. But if you've got more complicated scenario than that, where you need this sort of intermediate business layer, you can either do that business layer all in JavaScript, or you can issue web requests to some other system that's doing that for you, and then you're assigning these. So we can get away with one permission that we're defining that could now serve thousands of users groups. It keeps it really simple. I hope this has been informative, and I hope this is something that you could leverage to create your own business rules and start defining your own permissions.